It's been way too long since we've done this, so we're going to dive into 20 Dynasty trades here. Let's get it started with our first one. It's going to be pretty damn big. We are looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown and Ramondre Stevenson versus Davante Adams, Derrick Henry, Rashad Penny, Roschon Johnson. Now, I can understand if you say, well, Mason, come on, man. I'm a contending team, right? I need these older pieces. I need Adams. I need Henry. In reality, no, there's no reason you should ever make a deal like this. In reality, you're going to go with the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Ramondre Stevenson side, not even think about it. Because if you're breaking this down, you can head over and look at expectations in just 2023 drafts and see that in those underdog drafts, Amon-Ra St. Brown right now, wide receiver 9, Davante Adams, wide receiver 10. So even if you disagree, even if you think Davante Adams is a better option for this next season, we can at least agree that the expectations should at least be about in the same ballpark. And if you go over and do the same thing with Ramondre Stevenson, Derrick Henry is the running back 8 in these underdog drafts. Ramondre Stevenson is the running back 9. Derrick Henry is 29 years old in Dynasty. Davante Adams is going into his age 31 season. So why the hell would anybody take the Adams, Derrick Henry side here? Yeah, better be going ahead taking Amon-Ra St. Brown and Ramondre Stevenson as players that will give you similar short-term production, but obviously just have way more long-term value. Now, going over to our next deal, we're going to be looking at Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, and Justin Fields versus Joe Burrow and Jonathan Taylor. Now, I understand, yeah, you got Greg Dortch, you have the 2024 second, but I talk about this a lot when we look at these Dynasty trades. A piece like that should never stop you from making a deal one way or another, right? Like if we're looking at massive trade assets like Joe Burrow and Justin Fields, if you're trying to bring in Greg Dortch and use that as a tiebreaker in any way imaginable, you're just making the waters muddy. You're just going to end up confusing yourself. It's like if you were to go through and try to trade a Ferrari for a Lamborghini, and then you're sitting there going, oh no, I definitely want this car. And then they go, well, what if I give you the little tree air freshener that goes in the window? It doesn't matter. Who the hell cares? So yeah, just throw those garbage pieces outside of it. And honestly, I would rather have Joe Burrow over Justin Fields, Mike Evans, and I'm not really going to think about that twice. I think Burrow's in a completely different tier long-term compared to what you have with Justin Fields. And hell, I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor over Cooper Kupp, if I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Joe Burrow side. Now, going over to our next deal, I would love to know your opinion of this one because I don't have a great grasp on it. It's going to be Josh Allen, Jalen Waddle, and a future first versus Justin Herbert, Jamar Chase, J.K. Dobbins. I would rather have the future first over J.K. Dobbins, but if you're looking at Allen and Waddle versus Herbert and Chase, it kind of hurts my head. I see Allen maybe a tier ahead of Justin Herbert. Obviously, Jamar Chase a tier ahead of Jalen Waddle. I think it's pretty damn close. I would just love to know your opinion on this trade down there. Maybe I'm a big Herbert fan, and maybe that's clouding my judgment here. Now, our next deal, we're going to look at CeeDee Lamb versus the 105 and 114. Now, this was a 14-team Superflex league, and the 105 pick ended up turning into CJ Stroud. And if you've ever played in a 14-team Superflex format, I mean, those quarterbacks move up dramatically in your rankings. So there, it's not as easy to just say CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb. But in reality, pick 14 is nothing special. It ended up being Sam freaking Laporta in this trade. And if you're looking at like Sam Laporta, CJ Stroud versus CeeDee Lamb, give me CeeDee Lamb. Now, going over to our next deal, we're going to be looking at Jerry Judy versus DJ Moore. Now, this is just really funny in my mind, and this is going back to what we were discussing previously and just looking at expectations that you should have for this next season. Like if you're just pulling up, say, underdog drafts right now, right? I mean, you have Jerry Judy currently being drafted as the wide receiver 20. You have DJ Moore being drafted as the wide receiver 26, and that's just for this next season. Right? That's just for 2023. People are saying Jerry Judy will be a much better option. You also have DJ Moore at 26 years old in comparison to Jerry Judy at 24 years old. So you're telling me I'm getting the player that should be more productive this next season? At least that's what underdog drafts are indicating. Hell, we can go and look at the pick'em lines on underdog as well, where they have Jerry Judy for 5 receiving touchdowns as well as 900 receiving yards. And they're sitting with DJ Moore at 5 receiving touchdowns and a little under 900 receiving. So they're in line with wanting Judy there as well. So you're getting the more productive option. That's younger. Please go Jerry Judy. And of course, if y'all want to check out any of those player props, or if you want to go get in a 2023 best ball draft right now, y'all know I drafted over 700 teams on Underdog last year because it's best ball, no time commitment at all during the year. I won $150,000. It's available in damn near every state. This is the same spot that has those player props. And if you want to go sign up to Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use promo code FLOCK. You can find that link in the description as well as the comment section. And promo code FLOCK will get you a 100% deposit match up to $100, plus my 2023 Dynasty Fantasy Football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Let's go over to our next deal, looking at Kenneth Walker and a couple first-round picks versus Ramondre Stevenson, Deontay Johnson in the second. Well, Kenneth Walker versus Ramondre, pretty close for me. I think, honestly, about the same tier, personal preference, whatever you want. But 2 first-round picks versus Deontay Johnson in the second. What the hell are we talking here? Go with the 2 first-round picks. Now, going over to our next deal, we're going to be looking at DK Metcalf versus 2 future first. Now, obviously, I like DK Metcalf, right? I think Metcalf can be a wide receiver 1 this next year. It's not like Metcalf is old. But if you can pick up the extra first-round picks right now and allowing yourself to have so much flexibility during this season, that's always going to be the side that I'm going with, is going and trading that mid-level wide receiver for those 2 future first. Because say you get to a point where you are a contending team and you're going, well, you know what, Mason, I really need a wide receiver if I'm going to win this next year. During this season, you could always find someone to trade for either that 2024 or 2025 first. So if you really are contending, you can go and hand pick someone that's producing, someone that's fully healthy during the season when you actually need that player. And also, if something happens where you see a significant injury or two and it forces your hand into a rebuild, I mean, you're already kickstarting it and you already have so much value on your roster. But now going over to our next one, we're looking at Mike Evans versus Trey Tucker and a future second. Now, if you are going to make a play where you are selling a future pick, this is what I'm looking to do. I think it is so bad with people going and trading away their future first right now for guys like Devontae Adams, right? For someone like Calvin Ridley. No, don't trade away your future first, sacrificing all the flexibility for the moves that you could have during the season. If you are going to trade away a future pick, make sure that it's going to be a second-round pick or later for someone that you think could help you with your starting lineup now. And I think Mike Evans probably can help you with your starting lineup. I don't think trading away your second-round pick makes it where you are really pigeonholed and you don't have much flexibility during the year. So if you are going to trade away a future draft pick, that's probably the one that you're looking to do. Now, our next trade really hurts me, right? You're looking at Bijan Robinson, Quentin Johnston, 2 players that I love, right? I mean, y'all know I got to interview Bijan Robinson at the NFL draft this year. I'm a University of Texas alumni. Like, I'm rooting for Bijan Robinson. With Quentin Johnston, he checks pretty much every single box that we look at. He is in a great situation going forward. But we can say Quentin Johnston is maybe about equivalent to a 2024 first in a 12-team Superflex format. If I'm looking at Kenneth Walker and 2 future first versus Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker is still a pretty talented running back, while at the same time is on his rookie deal. So I'm actually probably going to go ahead and take Kenneth Walker in the future first here. Going back to what we were talking about earlier in this video, trying to get additional flexibility, allowing yourselves to be in a positional advantage during this season and how we can work with those future first. It's close. I love Bijan. I love Johnston. I think you got to go Walker in the 3 first, though. Now, going over to our next deal, Keenan Allen and Devon A-Chain versus a future first and second. Honestly, Devon A-Chain's about equivalent to a future second-round pick for me. Like, I'm not a big Devon A-Chain guy. I think y'all know that. I mean, a running back with a BMI under 29. And if you are looking at what you have with Keenan Allen versus the future first, take the future first. If you really need a wide receiver to contend this next year, you can wait until during the year. You can trade that future first for a wide receiver that we know is healthy and producing, and you're not having to take on any of the risk. You're not having to take on any of the uncertainty by going out there and pot committing yourself to a veteran player going into the year. Now, our next one, we're looking at Antonio Gibson versus DJ Chark, Isaiah Spiller. Really like this trade in general. Like going and getting Antonio Gibson, while obviously baseline expectation is Gibson doesn't really do much this next season, right? It's hard to imagine Antonio Gibson goes out there and immediately turns into a league-winning running back. But at the same time, we can say it's maybe in the range of outcomes for Antonio Gibson to be a top 10 running back this year, whether that's a 5% chance or a 10% chance, there's an actual possibility that Antonio Gibson could move the needle for your Dynasty Fantasy Football team to be a contender this next year. Will DJ Chark ever move the needle? No. Right now, DJ Chark, like if we go look at expectations for this next season, is being drafted as the wide receiver. Oh my gosh, he's still going down. 69 in underdog drafts. He's being drafted as a wide receiver 6. Even if he were to go out there and be a wide receiver 3 from a points per game perspective and smash all expectations, does he help you in your Dynasty League be a real contender? No. It's not happening. It's not possible. I really like DJ Chark, wide receiver 69 on underdog, because there, that format, he can actually make a difference. In your Dynasty League, it's not happening. Now, going over to our next guy, Trey Lance versus 2 future seconds. Come on. You know I got to go with our guy. All right. You know I got to go with our guy, and that's all I'm saying. Now, our next trade that we're looking at is Justin Fields versus a whole bunch of crap. Now, y'all know Justin Fields is not my guy. You know, I'm the person saying that it is in the range of outcomes. I'm not saying it's likely, but it is a possibility based on how the Chicago Bears perform this next year, or if the Carolina Panthers end up giving the Chicago Bears a top 3 pick, that Chicago ends up taking a quarterback in the 2024 draft. But while I can say that, I can also admit that based on the rushing upside that Justin Fields has, if he is able to significantly improve as a passer with the much better situation and the much better roster surrounding him, this could be a quarterback based off his rushing upside to finish as a top 3 quarterback overall. So based off that ceiling, does the 202 do anything for us? Nope, it doesn't. Does the 208 do anything for us? Nope, it doesn't. Does Cole Kmet do anything for us? Nope, it doesn't. Does Baker Mayfield do anything for us? Nope, it doesn't. The 107 is Addison. Would you rather have Jordan Addison, Joe Mixon, and a pack of potato chips, or Justin Fields? Give me Justin Fields. Not really thinking about this twice. I mean, just in general, if you can ever go through and trade 6 dimes for $1, probably a pretty good idea. Now, going over to our next deal, we're going to be looking at Miles Sanders versus the 108. Now, I think it's very dependent on the format that you're playing in. If you are in a 1 quarterback format, this 108 is going to be someone like Zach Charbonnet. This 108 is going to be someone like Dalton Kincaid. And that's if you're lucky. Maybe instead you're looking at like a Kondre Miller here. And in that situation, yeah, I'm completely fine if you wanted to go ahead and take Miles Sanders if you're a true contending team. However, if it's a super flex draft and instead you're looking at Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnston, you have to go ahead and you have to take the pick. Now, our next deal, it's very similar to the Justin Fields trade. Diggs and Barkley versus a bunch of turds, really. Bateman, Sky Moore, Devon Achane, Kondre Miller, Will Levis in a future second. I understand if you are in a spot where you're saying, well, you know what, man, come on. I mean, I'm rebuilding. I need to get some future value. I have to sell these veterans before their value goes down, such as Stephon. Okay. This is how you are forever a rebuilder. You're never going to turn it around if this is a trade that's being made. I mean, I am 100% against vetoing trades outside of clear collusion. But I mean, that's pretty damn close. Now, our last one, we're going to be looking at Burks versus Calvin Ridley. Here, I think you can make an argument if you're a rebuilding team to go Burks, if you're a contending team to go Ridley. What I'm very interested in right now is the probability that DeAndre Hopkins ends up as a Tennessee Titan. If you think Hopkins is going to Tennessee, you probably need to sell off Treylon Burks and go out there and get Calvin Ridley ASAP. But I think that's all we have for this video. We ran through about 20 trades as fast as we could. Let me know if y'all want more Dynasty videos on this channel. Y'all know I'm uploading every single day on the Flog Fantasy YouTube channel. We're also going to be doing drafts on that live stream every single day until 2024. If you want to get in a draft with us, if you want to check out any of those player props, you can go to Underdog Fantasy, their best ball drafts and no time commitment during the year. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last season. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 Dynasty Fantasy Football rankings, a free trial to flogfantasy.com, and have some fun getting into some drafts with us on the live stream. That's all I have for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Really do appreciate you, and really hope I get to hop in a draft with you later today on the live stream.